Countdown for blast off. X minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fire.
Welcome to Lord Blood-Rah's Nerve Wrackin Theatre.
Ah, my lords and ladies, geeks, geekarellas, geekulas, and geekeritas. I am Lord Blood-Rah, and this is Lord Blood-Rah's Nerve Wrackin Theatre. Weddings are being ruined when the brides drop dead right at the altar, and, to make things even stranger, their bodies, shortly after, disappear. Throw Bela Lugosi into that mix, and what you've got is a creepy little Poverty Row potboiler. Ha ha! Tonight, from 1942, it's the aptly named The Corpse Vanishes. Ha ha! Along for the ride is little Angelo Rosito, whom we've seen with Bela in 2 other films here in the Nerve Wrackin Theatre, Scared to Death and Spooks Run Wild. Also, this is a short film tonight, so at the end of our feature, we'll have a special little surprise for you. Well, without further ado, I give to you Bela Lugosi flexing his melodramatic muscles in The Corpse Vanishes.
And you, Phyllis Hamilton, do you take this man to be your legal, lawfully wedded husband, to love, honor, and obey, until death do you part?
I do.
She's fainted, Dr. Raven.
Take her into the anteroom.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Raven, I'm Pat Hunter from the Chronicle.
Please, this is no time for interviews.
Shall I telephone for the ambulance?
No. The undertaker. She's dead.
Okay, I can go now.
Is that all? Gee, thanks.
Good evening, Dr. Rayburn. I'm from the Forest Mortuary.
Forest mortuary? Why, two of your men just drove away with the body a few moments ago.
Well, there must be some mistake. They weren't our men.
Well, I've heard of ambulance chasing, but this is something new.
New? It's sensational. Another kidnapping of a dead bride. What a story!
And a few minutes ago, one of the men who helped remove the body of the mysteriously dead bride was apprehended by the police.
Go on, keep talking.
What I told you, I'm standing on the corner, minding my own business, when along comes a stiff wagon. A guy poked his head out of the window and asked me if I want to make a couple of bucks.
How many men were with that hearse?
2. At least all I could see.
What'd they look like?
I don't know. It was dark. I didn't pay no attention to faces.
You noticed the license?
What, with $2 staring me in the face?
Come on, tell the truth. What'd you do with the corpse?
I didn't do nothing with it. What I tell you is the truth. So help me.
As District Attorney, Mrs. Wentworth, I assure you that there won't be any trouble. You can proceed with the wedding as planned.
Well, we want some assurance besides words. We want protection.
I'll have plenty of men guarding the chapel. And if I'm any judge of the appearance of your daughter, she looks as healthy as she is beautiful.
Well, really, Mother, I think you're making much ado about nothing.
You're not worried, are you?
Not in the least.
Well, if we have protection, I'll feel much better about it.
You'll have it all right, Mrs. Wentworth. Tell Jones and Riley to wait. I'll pick him up.
That's the Wentworth mother and daughter, isn't it? Is the wedding called off?
Certainly not. And there isn't going to be any trouble either.
That's what all the rest of them thought.
I can't answer for Miss Wentworth's health, but your paper can print one thing, and that is that there'll be no more theft of girls' bodies.
Oh, Mr. Keenan, you promised to take me off the society column.
Oh, quit beefing. You're getting a break. This is the most exclusive wedding of the year.
What if the Wentworth girl drops dead, too?
You'll still tell me what she's wearing along with the rest of the fancy pants. Get me the guest list and don't bother about anything else. I've got 3 men working with the police and there'll be plenty more thereabouts. If the bride pulls up this time, there won't be any snatching. Now get going.
What if I get a clue?
Oh, I wouldn't let that bother me, sweetie pie. You wouldn't know a clue if it bit you.
I'll remember those words, stooge. Why are you so nervous, Mother? After all, I'm the one that's getting married.
Oh, I just can't help it. I'm so afraid something will go wrong.
Forget it. Nothing can possibly happen. Make it snappy. We're late and this wedding won't wait for us.
Can I help it if we had a blowout?
Serves you right. Why don't you buy some new tires for this bus?
You know, I've been thinking of getting... Hey, are you kidding?
Come on.
Do you feel all right, dear?
Certainly. I never felt better in my life. You should forget all that silly nonsense about those brides dropping dead.
For Miss Wentworth.
Oh, thank you. From Dwight, no doubt.
Oh, wear this next to your heart, darling. All my love. What an unusual orchid.
Why, I never saw one like it before. It's lovely.
It's beautiful.
The miniature is ready, Mrs. Wentworth.
Thank you. Say a little prayer, darling.
You look faint, dear. Do you feel all right?
Yes.
Oh, Alan! Alice! Oh, darling, are you all right? Oh, Alice, dear! Alice! Oh.
It's happened again.
I just got the picture of the month.
Well, there goes another dead bride. But not to worry. The photographer got a great shot of her as they were carrying her away. Gee, I hope the lady reporter found out who designed her dress. Well, I guess she could ask the family at the funeral. These details are important, you know. This is news. We'll be right back.
Daughter of Horror. Here is tense, taut, chill-filled drama that shocks you with hair-raising horror. Not one word is spoken on the screen. The strangest motion picture you have ever seen. Daughter of Horror.
As we return to The Corpse Vanishes, another bride has bit the big one, and now all eyes are on her corpse to make sure it doesn't vanish.
The news to Keenan. Did you get any more pictures?
Did I get pictures? I covered everything except a close-up of this pretty posy.
Why, that looks like the one the bride wore. What are you doing with it?
Presenting it to you, sweetheart, as a token of my devotion. Take a smell.
Who ever heard of an orchid with a scent?
Well, that one has. Maybe it's a clue.
What a peculiar sweet odor.
Yeah, make a swell romaine salad. Hey, Pat, you're not going to pass out too, are you?
No, I'm okay.
You stay right here.
What kind of a gag is this? No driver, no license plate. Maybe it isn't a gag. Maybe it's a decoy. Well, maybe you're right.
Calling all cars, calling all cars. Another abduction of a girl's corpse. Brunette, 22 years of age. Stop and search all trucks and suspicious-looking cars. That is all. Burnside.
Pile out. We're taking a look inside this rig.
Sure thing, officer.
It's a corpse, all right, but not the one we're looking for. All right, go ahead.
Change that headline to read as wedlock challenged. Then set up an editorial attacking the DA's office for playing models while some madman runs away with the bodies of dead brides.
Okay, Mr. Keenan.
Send me up the proofs right away. Oh, so it's you. Well, of all the rotten stories that have ever been turned into this office, yours takes the prize. No guest list, and we don't even know what the bride wore.
She wore this orchid.
Listen, Miss Hunter, I have a great responsibility. I'm a public servant. Parents are calling the Chronicle frantically with tears in their voice, begging for news of their daughters. I have a daughter myself who's about to be married. Maybe she'll drop dead, too. But she won't drop dead from an orchid.
I didn't say that.
Well, then what are you talking about?
Every one of the brides that died and disappeared were wearing one of these orchids.
How do you know?
Well, I checked. Look at these pictures.
All right, perhaps it's a coincidence. It still doesn't spell anything.
Then where did the Wentworth girl get this orchid? The bridegroom didn't give it to her.
Perhaps a dozen people gave it to her. Her mammy, her pappy.
No, they didn't either. I checked. Besides, this orchid has a peculiar odor. That's unusual.
Well, if you think it's a clue, why don't you follow it up?
Is that an assignment?
It's a notice that you're through if you don't bring something in.
Okay, Mr. Keenan.
My little family. You're all so very faithful.
Master, the Countess is waiting.
Upstairs?
There.
Oh, you must hurry. Mike? Are you suffering, my beloved?
Terribly. You must hurry.
I'm so sorry, but I was detained. Please forgive me.
Forgive you. You loiter and waste time while I wait here dying. Dying.
Courage. I will not let you die.
Better death than agony like this. Look at me. Look at me.
Calm yourself, my dear.
Now, will you hurry?
Courage, my dear, courage.
Why do you beat my son so hard?
Because he's a beast, an animal, and someday I shall have to destroy him.
My poor son, why was he ever born?
Can you bear to look at me now?
Of course. You're beautiful. And I shall always keep you that way.
Will she live?
As long as she can be of any use to us.
She's pretty. Very young.
All of them must be. Come, my dear. Look after the girl, Father.
Yes, nurse.
What did he call her?
Look after the girl, Father.
Yes, nurse.
Oh, Faga. Her name is Faga. Yeah, that's right. It said so in the credits. That was a close one. I thought he said... Oh, who's calling me in the middle of a show? Oh, I'm sorry. I have to take this. It's the station manager. Just a moment. Hello, LBR here. No. Look, he said Faga. Her name is Faga. No, I thought I heard that too, but no, that's not what he said. The name is Faga. This is a family show, after all. Excuse me a moment. Look, this is going to take a little while, so I got to talk to him. We'll be right back. I hope. Yeah, no. I assure you, he said Faga. Well, I don't know. I didn't write the script.
Science has learned that all people possess mental powers which pass the boundaries of the natural. This is the story of a man confronted by such strange forces within himself. At this moment, he is looking at a thing of evil, a thing that takes possession of the mind and compels it to kill.
I destroyed them. Something in me killed them.
Seven pins went in. And the 7 people died, not 1, 7. Who put in those pins? You did, all 7. Maps and pins can't kill alone. The power of a human brain has to be behind them.
You're right. We are so lucky. So lucky to be alive.
A terror in the hellish unknown, seeking warm, living flesh to drag down into the bowels of the earth.
None of the florists I checked with ever saw an orchid like that.
Well, that's not surprising. This particular type belongs to the Stanhopea class. It's a very rare species.
Do you know of anyone that grows them?
No. But if you wish to find out more about them, I suggest that you look up a man by the name of Lorenz. He was the one who originally hybridized this plant, over in Europe somewhere.
But I just can't go to Europe just to...
Oh, that isn't necessary. He lives up at Brookdale now.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
You're quite welcome.
Looks like that box got a coffin in it, Jed.
Sure does. For Professor Lorenz. What do you suppose he wants with a coffin?
Search me. He's such a strange, spooky guy. The further I stay away from him, the better.
Me too.
I'll take charge of this.
Go ahead. Take it away. Glad to get rid of it.
Where to, miss?
To the home of Professor Lorenz.
Lorenz, I'm sorry, I can't take you there. I'm out of gas.
You mean you won't take me?
Yes, ma'am, I'm sorry. I just...
Is this the only taxi in town?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Look, I've simply got to get to the Lorenz place. I'll make it worth your while.
Oh, I'm sorry, lady, but that truck's going up there. You might get a ride with him, that is, if you don't mind riding with a coffin.
Would you give me a lift to the Lorenz place?
What do you want to go there for?
To see the professor.
Does he expect you?
No, but
Then we can't take you.
Get off and stay off.
Look, I've got to see Professor Lorenz. It's important.
I said you couldn't ride.
Hey, wait a minute. You've got my bag. Oh. Would you mind giving me a lift?
Well, certainly not. Where are you going?
I'm trying to get to the home of Professor Lorenz.
Well, you're in luck. That's where I'm going. Get in.
Thank you.
My name is Dr. Foster.
I'm Patricia Hunter.
Are you a friend of the Lorenz?
No, I'm a reporter. I hope to interview the professor. You're his doctor, I presume?
Well, not exactly. Lorenz is a doctor himself, but he has no license to practice. I've been working with him. We're trying to find a cure for his wife.
Oh, I see. What type of people are the Lorenzes?
You'll find them very interesting. Professor Lorenz is a man of unusual accomplishment, but his wife is rather peculiar. I expect you'll find them both a bit eccentric. Toby, tell your master I'm here.
Cheerful little fellow, isn't he?
I told you they were eccentric.
I'm inclined to believe you.
Get out, you gargoyle! Get out!
Good evening, Dr. Foster. Come right in.
Good evening, Professor Lorenz, Countess. May I present Miss Patricia Hunter?
How do you do?
We have been expecting you.
So you found my bag in your truck?
Yes, there it is.
Miss Hunter's a newspaper woman.
I came here hoping you might grant me an interview.
An interview? About what?
No one asked you to come here. You are not welcome.
Control yourself, my dear. I'm sure Miss Hunter meant no harm. Please forgive my wife. She's not well. Come, you'd better retire.
So that's what you call being eccentric. Well, I have another name for it.
I do not like that girl. She is here for no good.
We have nothing to fear.
I'm sorry, Professor, if we're intruding.
Not at all, Dr. Foster. This is our evening for work. Please, be seated.
Thank you.
What do you wish to interview me about?
Orchids.
Orchids?
Yes, I understand that you're an authority on the subject.
They were once my hobby, but I haven't grown any for several years. Which species are you interested in?
A very rare one of the Stanhopea type. A horticulturist told me that you're the original hybridizer of it.
Have you ever seen one?
Yes, I have one in my bag. I'll show it to you.
Where did you get it?
Oh, a friend of mine gave it to me. You see, I'm doing an article on orchids for my newspaper, and I thought that you might be willing to supply me with some special data.
I'm sorry I can't spare a time tonight, Miss Hunter. You see, I have very important work to do with Dr. Foster.
I understand.
If your interview can wait until morning, I'll drive you back here then. If that's agreeable with Professor Lorenz.
Well, it's quite agreeable, but I would suggest that you both stay here as my guests.
Thank you very much, but I prefer going to a hotel.
Just as you wish. I think it would be foolish to go out in such a storm.
The professor is right, Miss Hunter. Perhaps we had better remain. However, if you insist, I'll gladly drive you back to the village.
I'm afraid that would be an imposition since you've so much work to do. Thank you, I'll stay.
Toby will show you to your rooms. Toby, take up Miss Hunter's bag.
Good night.
Good night. I'll meet you in the study soon. Very well.
Why did you ask her to spend the night here?
A very special reason.
Thank you.
I guess you sleep very good. Maybe.
The few times I've stayed overnight here, I slept unusually well.
It must be wonderful to have nerves like that. Tell me, just how well do you know these people?
Why, actually, not very well. I've only recently moved into the village. You know, a young doctor trying to establish a practice.
Well, I must be keeping you from your work. Good night, Doctor.
Good night.
That it could happen in America. That it could happen now. That it could ever happen to me. Another murder tonight. At Watergate. My apartment.
You must issue the order that he be taken alive.
But the moon hasn't risen yet. Put a guard on me.
As we return to The Corpse Vanishes, our intrepid young lady reporter is retiring for the night. But in this house, a good night's sleep could just become permanent.
What do you want?
Yes, you are beautiful.
How did you get in here?
So young. Such lovely skin. Sometime you too will be a bride.
I know where you're going. Someday, the master will catch you. Then you'll be sorry.
Creature. He disappeared back there.
Apparently he's not here now. Where did you see him?
Leaning over my bed.
Of course, you might have been dreaming.
I'm positive I wasn't. Earlier in the evening, Mrs. Lorenz suddenly appeared and then disappeared. Do you suppose there's another entrance to this room?
Oh, I doubt it. Why don't you try to go back to sleep? No one's going to harm you. I'm sure it was just a nightmare.
I think this whole place is a nightmare. Professor Lorenz and his wife were actually sleeping in coffins, I saw them.
We often find it difficult to explain the peculiarities of some people.
I guess so. I'm awfully sorry to bother you.
There's no trouble. If you're frightened, call me again. Good night.
Good night.
What is the trouble?
The angel. He has disturbed our guests.
Always the angel. He is a menace to us.
Yes. I think the time has come to dispose of him.
Okay, I guess you have to admire her courage. I mean, waking up to a big creep stroking her hair and then finding her host and his wife sleeping in coffins and not running screaming into the night. But all this nosing around after hours, I just find it kind of rude. I mean, how would you feel if you had a house guest and she was looking around the house in the middle of the night and found you stroking the hair of an unconscious, possibly dead person? It would be embarrassing, to say the least.
Coming to this theater soon, The Beast of Yucca Flats. Filmed on the burning hot sands by Yucca Flats. See terror, panic, murder. See the Cardoza and Francis production of The Beast of Yucca Flats. See a man turn killer. See a woman ravaged. See one of the most exciting movies ever made. See The Beast of Yucca Flats. A killer on the loose. Death sweeps across the desert. Panic. A bloodthirsty killer stalks a moonlit desert. See The Beast of Yucca Flats.
Now back to The Corpse Vanishes, as the Angel investigates this intrusion into his privacy.
Don't be afraid, Angel. I would not hurt you.
Yes?
Good morning, Miss Hunter.
Oh, good morning. Just a minute, Dr. Foster. I want to see you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were up.
Oh, I've been up all night with dead people.
Dead people? What do you mean?
Come in and I'll tell you. What kind of a place is this? Last night I had the most horrible experience of my life.
Well, what was it?
I saw lots of girls in crypts down underneath this house.
Pardon me. What was that you were saying, Miss Hunter?
Why have you a mausoleum in the basement?
Mausoleum? What are you talking about?
You know what I'm talking about. All of those dead girls and that horrible dead creature.
My dear, you must have had a bad dream.
Now look, Professor, this was no dream.
When did you see all this?
Shortly after I called you and told you about that horrible creature in my room.
Is that true, Dr. Foster?
Well, I don't recall anything about it, Miss Hunter. You must be mistaken.
Well, if I was dreaming, it was the darndest nightmare I've ever had.
Well, I slept very soundly myself.
Miss Hunter was rather upset, I think, when she retired. You see, in our dreams, our minds play strange tricks on us sometimes.
Yes, I suppose so. Oh, Professor, that orchid I brought up here to show you's gone. I couldn't find it in my bag.
That's too bad. Perhaps you forgot to pack it. Will you be down soon?
Yes, right away.
Are you coming, Doctor?
Of course.
Shall we go into breakfast?
No, thank you. I've got to get back to the city. Will you drive me to the station, Dr. Foster?
I'll be glad to. But what about the interview?
Well, that'll have to wait until some other time. I just remembered an appointment at the office, so I've got to catch the next train. You'll excuse me, Countess?
Yes, I will excuse you.
Oh, Professor, do you also make a hobby of collecting coffins?
Why, yes, in a manner of speaking. I find a coffin much more comfortable than a bed. Many people do so, my dear. Is it so strange that I accept one while waiting for eternal rest?
No, I suppose not. Well, thank you for your hospitality. Goodbye.
I trust we will meet again. It has been so nice meeting you.
Don't tell me I'm still dreaming.
Well, what do you mean?
That gravedigger. He's real, isn't he?
Oh, he's real, all right. But I hardly think he's a gravedigger. More likely laying the foundation for a house.
You're a trusting soul, aren't you, Doctor?
Is that a crime?
No, on the contrary. I envy you.
Are you trying to make me believe you're one of those hard-boiled reporters that we read about or see in the movies?
No, but working on a newspaper, one becomes cynical and suspicious.
Well, I've enjoyed meeting you, Miss Hunter. I hope to have the pleasure of seeing you again.
I have a hunch you will, Dr. Foster.
Oh, tell me, just why did you come up here? Or is it a secret?
It is, but somehow I feel that I can trust you.
You can.
You've heard of the case of the vanishing brides.
Why, surely.
I think I have a clue.
You don't mean that you suspect...
Yes, I do. I want to show you something. What are these?
Why, they're orchids, of course.
You bet they're orchids. And they didn't grow in my dreams. They're exactly like the one that disappeared from my bag.
Where did you get them?
I found them on the floor beside my bed this morning. The person who came into my room last night must have brought these with him.
That seems like a logical explanation.
There's no question about it. Honestly, Doctor, don't you remember meeting me in the hallway last night?
No, I don't. And if I did, I must have been asleep.
Either that or you were hypnotized.
Yes, that's quite possible.
Well, watch your step. And if you discover anything, phone me.
That's a promise.
Goodbye.
Not goodbye. Au revoir.
All right, print the story on page 1. Keep your fingers crossed that this paper isn't sued for libel by some of these phony suspects that the police are bringing in.
Well, get me a Rembrandt of the guy they just brought in.
I don't want photographs. I want real clues. The DA's office can't pick up the madman who's stealing the bodies of these dead girls. Maybe we can.
Okay, I'll throw it in the wastebasket.
No, I'll have it developed. Doyle, where's Lefty?
Over at Central Station.
The only thing he gets over there is a game of gin rummy. Tell him to get back here.
Well, I got something.
I'll say you have. You're fired.
What do you mean? You can't do that to me.
Listen, just because the bodies of dead girls disappear is no reason why you can do a vanishing act.
But you gave me the assignment.
Yeah, I suppose I did. All right, where have you been? What have you uncovered?
Well, hey, not so fast. Listen, Mr. Keenan, last night I went through the most gruesome experience of my life.
You should talk. All my life has been a nightmare.
Well, you can rest easier now because I've seen plenty. If I can only prove I wasn't dreaming.
Dreaming?
I had a dream last night myself. I dreamed you gave me that raise you've been promising me.
All right, Madam Zora, go on with your dream story.
Well, there's a certain Professor Lorenz that lives upstate. He knows all about orchids, but insists that he doesn't grow them anymore. Yet I found these in my bedroom this morning.
Listen, Lizzie, you didn't go off someplace and get married, did you?
No, I didn't. But I saw the bodies of those other missing brides.
All right. Now, take it easy. Stop breathing hard, Pat, and tell me all about it. Did you really see any bodies?
Yes and no.
I see. Just a bit of ectoplasm.
Well, I'm sure I did, though, only... Oh, I can't explain it.
Yeah, you're suffering the same way I am. I see brides everywhere. Hear wedding bells ringing in my ears.
And I saw a dead man, too. A monstrosity.
Very well.
I'd like to see Miss Hunter.
Oh, I'm sorry. She's busy. She's with Mr. Keenan.
It's very important that I see her. I'm Dr. Foster. I wonder if you'd mind announcing me.
Mr. Keenan, there's Dr. Foster here. Insists on seeing Miss Hunter.
Tell him he can have all of her time from now on.
That's the Dr. Foster I was telling you about. Maybe he has more evidence.
All right, send the sawbones in.
Hey, look, if you don't mind, I'm going out for a nervous breakdown.
Well, Doctor, you almost beat me here.
Yes, I drove down.
Dr. Foster, Mr. Keenan, my editor.
Very glad to meet you. How do you do?
This cub reporter of mine has been telling me a weird story about a certain Dr. Lorenz up in your neighborhood.
It's weird, all right, but I'm confident it's true. After you left, I looked around the station to find out if Lorenz had any other coffins assigned to him. I found a consignment, all right. And instead of a coffin, it was a box filled with this stuff.
So what? That's ordinary garden moss.
It's moss, all right, but not ordinary. This is a special type used by florists and hybridizers for growing orchids. It's called osmundin.
Which proves that he does grow orchids like these. And the same kind were worn by every one of the brides that died.
Well, maybe it is a clue. But how do I know that the rest isn't a cockeyed nightmare? She admits that you don't remember talking to her.
I could have talked to her while in a somnambulistic state, under the influence of hypnotism.
Oh, now, wait a minute. Are you trying to tell me that this Professor Lorenz is a hypnotist as well as a horticulturist?
Why not? My short acquaintance with him has convinced me that he's a man of unlimited talents. He's strange, peculiar. I've even suspected him of being insane. But the fact remains he's not only a doctor, but a physicist and a scientist of great ability.
How about this hot-headed wife of his?
I hesitate to bring her into the case at all. Professional ethics forbids a doctor talking about his patients.
Oh, forget about your ethics, Doctor. After all, we're after a criminal. How does this woman fit into the picture? Come on, tell us all you know.
The peculiar fact about her is that although she has the appearance of a young woman, her heart and arteries indicate that she's at least 70 or 80 years old.
Well, that doesn't explain anything. Certainly doesn't explain why Dr. Lorenz should steal these dead girls.
It's possible they may still be alive.
Alive in a cataleptic state?
That's it.
All right. What are your other deductions?
Well, simply this. These young girls, whether dead or alive, are being used by Lorenz in some manner as human guinea pigs to sustain his wife in a youthful state.
Oh, that's preposterous.
It's nothing of the kind. Scientists are finding out every day that glands and hormones have a lot to do with life and health.
The glands in our bodies help determine the condition of our teeth, the texture of our hair.
All right, we'll admit all that. But I wouldn't dare print such a fantastic story.
I bring you the biggest story of the year and a chance to get this newspaper a real scoop, and you call it fantastic.
All right, I'll put Doyle on it to track it down.
I'm afraid you won't get very far. Professor Lorenz is a clever man, clever enough to withstand any investigation and destroy any evidence.
Why not track the fellow?
How?
Well, he steals dead brides, doesn't he?
Oh, now, look, Pat, do you want to be a June bride?
Oh, sure. I mean, that is, no, not yet. Anyway, Lorenz knows me.
All right, then stop talking nonsense. This paper can't assume the responsibility of such a harebrained scheme.
Why'd you set up the brake? Because I can use you. This machine utilizes X-ray, ultraviolet, and alpha, beta, and omega rays.
This man is a killer. Mad with dreams of fantastic power.
We're conducting experiments requiring fissionable materials.
That's atom bomb stuff. The government has that locked up tighter than Fort Knox.
You work for us faithfully, or you'll be turned over to the authorities. I understand there's a reward of $5,000 on your head.
No money is safe. No man is safe. Nothing stops the amazing transparent man. Into army-guarded secret government vaults he goes, stealing confidential nuclear material, holding in his unseen hands the key to world power. But the amazing transparent man wants first vengeance.
If I choke you hard enough, you'll bring me back.
There she is.
Cigarettes?
Hey, she's cute. Well, would you like to dance?
Later. Business before pleasure, you know. Hello, Peggy.
Hello, Pat.
Miss Woods, Dr. Foster.
Good evening, Miss Woods.
How do you do?
I have something important to tell you. I'm all ears. Let's go to your dressing room.
Okay.
I won't be long.
All right.
Peggy, I've landed a good part for you. A chance to prove your talent.
Really? What is it, a picture or a play?
Neither one. My paper's going to stage a phony wedding, and we want you to be the perfect June bride.
Now, wait just a
With
minute.
bridesmaids and flowers and all the trimmings.
What is it, a circulation stunt?
No. You've heard of the case of the vanishing bride.
Sure.
Well, this is a plan we have to trap the person who's been stealing their bodies.
Are you kidding?
Certainly not. The job will pay you plenty.
How will I collect if I'm dead?
You won't be dead. All you have to be careful of is not to smell any flowers.
All I do is lie 6 feet underground and push them up. Nix, count me out.
Listen, Peggy, I'm offering you a chance to get your picture on the front page of every newspaper in this country. Overnight, you'll be famous. Broadway producers and Hollywood studios will be offering you contracts, like the chance you've been waiting for.
She's the most unusual type. Such fascinating eyes.
She'll make a charming addition to our family.
June 20th.
A day we shall not forget. Faga, what are you doing in this part of the house?
Master, I keep hearing my son's voice calling for me.
Your son is better off where he is. Go back to your work.
Master, you shouldn't have done it. He didn't deserve to die.
Do what I say and don't come up here again.
Yes, master.
Poor Mother Faga. Look, her name is Faga. She is a mother, and again, I did not write the script.
Well, everything's all set. She's young and pretty.
Yeah. What assurance have we that this Lorenz guy will show up to make the snatch?
And what happens if he does kidnap this fake bride?
Well, the private chapel and neighborhood will be covered with guards, and, well, Lorenz hasn't a chance to escape.
Providing he shows up. And if he doesn't, I'm the sucker and out $500.
And if he does, you have an exclusive story with big, juicy headlines.
I hope you're right.
Well, blushing bride, here's where you go on for your big scene.
Or big flop. My knees are shaking.
There's nothing to be afraid of. Here's your bouquet and the phony orchid. Now, don't forget to put on your act.
Leave that to me. You got plenty of photographers out there?
Certainly.
And what about the cops?
How many times do I have to tell you nothing's going to happen to you?
Oh, Miss Hunter.
Yes?
I wanted to ask you, in this ceremony, shall we use the word cherish or obey?
You mean for the bride?
Yes.
Well, just for this once, let's put the old-fashioned word in. Obey.
I've marked the words here. Just read the ceremony slowly, solemnly.
Yes, I understand.
I hope what you're doing isn't wrong.
It's all in good cause.
Well, I suppose it is. Well, if you need me, you'll find me in my study.
Thank you. You've been grand, Reverend. You'd better go get ready.
What do I do now?
Just march down the aisle and don't forget to faint at the altar.
Well, here goes nothing.
How's everything going?
All right so far, I guess.
Good.
Ceremony's about to begin.
I certainly hope somebody shows up besides these ham actors I'm paying.
You know, it seems to me that if Lorenz were ready to strike, he'd have sent an orchid.
Just a minute. I'll take that.
Did you say orchid?
And I'll take you with it.
There you are. Looks like our man's going to pounce all right.
It looks like you're right.
It looks just like a real wedding, doesn't it?
Yes. Too bad it isn't. Ours.
Is that a proposal, Dr. Foster?
It certainly is.
The minister would like to speak to you in his study, Miss Hunter.
But, oh, you mean the real minister?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I'll be right back. You wanted to see me, Reverend?
Where's Pat?
The minister sent for her. I'll be right back.
Please, master, don't leave me.
Toby, my son. Where is Toby, master?
Toby's doctor.
You shouldn't have left.
Stop whimpering. How is the Countess?
Waiting as usual.
Hurry up, let's go.
There was trouble?
Yes, but we'll be finished before anyone finds us.
But the bride. What will we do without them?
We have to leave him here.
Which means I will perish.
It isn't hopeless I find other girls. In the meantime, we take this one with us.
What are you waiting for?
Well, my dear, again we meet, only under different circumstances. I would have preferred that you would be a bride, but it really doesn't matter. You will serve our purpose just as well.
Now both of my sons are gone. You betrayed me, master.
I heard enough. There's work to do.
You betrayed me, master. You shouldn't have done it.
Your hand is unsteady.
Can't see.
Pat. Is she dead?
No. Just scared to death.
All right. Break it up. We've got headlines to write.
Do I get a byline?
After this, you can have a clothesline with my shirt on it.
I now pronounce you man and wife.
Do I get a byline?
After this, you can have a clothesline with my shirt on it.
So she did such a good job getting this story that now she has to do her boss's laundry? Or was that some kind of 1940s jokey proposal? As if to say, you've done a great job, kid, and your reward is me. Those were different times. We'll be back with that surprise I mentioned earlier.
Come in. Come closer. Closer. That's right. I'm Vincent Price. You'll be just as safe in this house of fear as any of the other 5 victims murdered by the Bat. In all of the annals of mystery, there's never been a more elusive, fearsome, and cunning killer. He'll lure you through hidden passages to make you his next victim. But nobody lives forever, so why be afraid of the Bat?
How long's he been dead?
Oh, I'd say about a half an hour. You believe it was the Bat?
That's the Bat's trademark.
Perhaps he's still in the house.
That's possible.
It says here that the Bat never leaves no fingerprints.
That's understandable. Having no face, he probably has no fingers either.
The Bat is waiting for you.
And now, as usual, my lords and ladies, a short film means a big surprise for you. And tonight, we have a tale of a young woman plagued by nightmares of a cold, watery fate. From one step beyond comes the chilling tale, The Night of April 14th.
The amazing drama you're about to see is a matter of human record. You may believe it or not, but the real people who lived this story, they believe it. They know. They took that one step beyond. Here in this warm, secure London house, early April 1912, began the bizarre and untold chapter of a news story that would soon stun the civilized world. In this library was an unread book. Coming events cast their shadows before them. Maybe. Remember this book. We'll come back to it later. It might shock you.
Mother. 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 Mother! Mother!
What is it? What's wrong, dear?
It was water. Dark water. I was drowning. I couldn't swim anymore. I was drowning.
Oh, you've just had one of those old-fashioned nightmares.
Oh, no.
I don't blame you. All this excitement about the wedding. No wonder.
Eric was there. And I couldn't find him in the dark. And the water closed in over me. What does it mean?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And in 4 days you'll be married and in Switzerland on your honeymoon. The happiest bride that ever was. And you can't drown in Switzerland. Nobody ever does. All they do is bang into trees on those foolish skis. But drowning? No.
It was all so clear to me. And I could feel the water. It was like ice.
Now, if you must dream, I order you to dream only pleasant things. Eric, your wedding dress, and how happy you're going to be. Promise? That's better. Now, come on back to bed.
But I couldn't find him. I couldn't find
Now,
him.
that is enough, darling. And I shouldn't worry Eric with this. He's been trying so hard to make everything wonderful for you. There. Now. Good night, dear. And no more nightmares. Good night.
Good morning, Emily. Is the future Mrs. Farley about? Grace?
Eric. Well.
I know it's early, but I wanted to see what my wife would look like in the mornings.
Ugly.
Would you like some coffee, darling?
I'd love some. You like surprises, don't you, darling?
I love them. Come on, surprise me.
It's about our honeymoon.
The honeymoon?
We're not going to Switzerland.
We're not. Well, where are we going?
We're going to America. To New York City.
New York. Eric.
Now, why don't you ask me how we're going to get there? Swim? Rowboat? Raft?
All right, darling, how?
That's how. Stateroom 111B, boat deck, right next door to Mr. and Mrs. John Jacob Astor, no less. On the maiden voyage of His Royal Majesty's ship, Titanic, Southampton to New York, 6 days at sea, next Tuesday.
At sea?
Oh, just a little sugar, darling.
I can't. I can't believe it.
I can hardly believe it myself, but the office has connections.
Oh, you lucky children.
You sure you won't miss Switzerland?
Oh, Switzerland will keep. But the Titanic, our honeymoon, it's once in a lifetime.
The paper's full of nothing but the Titanic. Listen to this, Grace. RMS Titanic, the world's largest and most luxurious liner, is writing a new and glamorous chapter in man's conquest of the sea. By virtue of her 5 watertight compartments, she's being hailed in marine engineering circles as the unsinkable ship. Her first passenger list makes her a floating home for royalty, statesmen, international society, and stars of the theater and the arts. And
Mr. and Mrs. Eric Farley, who are absolutely unknown.
And absolutely in love.
Grace. Grace. Grace, what is it, darling? What is it?
We can't go on that ship. It happened again. I dreamed.
Now, darling, I do wish you wouldn't.
I saw the sea, the cold sea. Oh. There were people struggling in the water.
Really?
Sinking, dying.
Grace.
And then a huge ship slid down. Down.
Now, it's just a bad dream. Besides, that ship couldn't be the Titanic. The Titanic can't sink. Everyone knows that.
I saw a lifeboat tossing in the water. There were letters on the side of it. I saw. Really? So clearly I saw the word Titanic on the side of the boat. I did. I did. I did. I did. I did. I did. I did.
I'm sure you all recognize the groom as veteran character actor Patrick Macnee, best known as Mr. Steed from the popular British 60s spy series The Avengers. You horror and sci-fi fans know him as Dr. Wagner from the werewolf classic The Howling, as well as from his multiple roles in the 1970s sci-fi series Battlestar Galactica, in which he voiced the opening narration, had a major role in the 2-parter War of the Gods, and also provided the voice for the imperious leader of the Cylons. We'll be right back.
From ancient Genesis to the modern screen, is the name written in blood. Ega!
If I could just call you on the phone, coat of the ghost, that's the sign of the toad. Nobody lives on the Brownsville Road.
Thrill to the newest recording star, Archibald Jr.
Oh, they scream in this way.
See ravishing Marilyn Manning in a thrilling, chilling story. The last of the prehistoric giants sees his first girl.
Noah.
Curious newsmen search deep in giant country for the last of the ancient cavemen. See a tough giant tamed by the soft hands of his captive woman. See him sacrifice his ageless beard for her love. Then lose her to a boy in a dune buggy, escaping a burning desert. Igor's primitive passion was love or kill. Hear Igor talk, the ancient language of love, used at the beginning of time. See Igor!
Just what I've always wanted. Only my own dear Aunt Agatha would have guessed. Have you ever kept birds, my darling? Neither have I. You ever thought of keeping birds? Neither have I. And by all means, write dear Aunt Agatha and tell her she's made us very, very happy.
I will.
I know all about last night. And the night before that.
Mother told you. I suppose you think I've gone off my head, one of the silly, hysterical women.
I think you're a lot overtired and a little over-imaginative.
But this isn't my imagination. Believe me, I saw it.
Now, that is silly. You don't believe what you see in your sleep? I mean, unless you're a gypsy. Grace, do you trust me?
You know I do.
Then don't spoil the happiest time of our whole lives just because of a bad dream. Everything's going to be all right, I promise. I'll take care of you always.
Oh, but darling.
You know, if I didn't know you so well, I'd think that you'd fallen in love with another man, that you didn't want to marry me.
I couldn't love anybody but you.
Very well, I believe you. Only remember, if there ever is another man, I was one of the best shots in the Coldstream Guard.
Keep a bird after all.
I beg your pardon?
That would please your Aunt Agatha, wouldn't it?
Terribly. Did you have any particular species in mind?
Oh, a lovebird, of course.
Oh, naturally, a lovebird.
Thank you, darling.
What for?
The 6 most perfect days of my life.
How lovely you are. And very young. Could be even better days.
You've forgiven me, haven't you, for those silly scenes I made?
I've forgotten the whole thing.
I'm glad. But awful. Ridiculous dreams.
As the mighty ship raced through the Atlantic night, there were others far away who felt dark premonitions of disaster. For one, a Methodist minister in Winnipeg, Canada.
6.
Excuse me, Dr. Morgan, but it's nearly time for the service.
Miss Parsons, I'd like the congregation to sing hymn number 446 tonight.
But, Dr. Morgan, the hymns for tonight are already posted in the church, and the organist...
Please, 446.
I didn't know that was one of your favorite hymns.
It isn't. I don't even know the words. I simply know that we must sing it tonight.
Hear, Father, while we pray to thee for those in peril on the sea. Better we should be praying for our farmers after a winter like this.
What is it, darling?
Nothing.
You're cold. Come to bed. At precisely the same time in New York City, still 1,000 miles away, a magazine illustrator named Harry Teller felt a weird compulsion.
I don't know what's wrong with me.
Harry, what's this? I thought you were supposed to be drawing pretty girls in the new spring styles. You'll never make the deadline now.
I don't know how it happened. I was, I don't know, helpless. Something seemed to be guiding my hand. I can't explain it.
You're tired. You've been working too hard. Now, come on.
No. No, it's not that.
Harry, let's go to bed. Now, this drawing, it's awful. I don't know who would want it. But you know something? This is the best work you've ever done. I've never seen you do anything like this before. All of this detail in here. And Harry, what is it? Your hands are like ice.
The water in the drawing was cold. Icy cold.
Assume the position and open your minds wide. It's time for your cranial cavity search. Yes, my lords and ladies, the cranial cavity search. Here's a chance for you great geeks out there to prove your geek cred by showing what you know. And tonight's cranial cavity search question is: we understand each other too well. We know too much of life. We shall play a little game, Vetus. A game of death, if you like. From which classic Universal horror film does this line come? A. The Invisible Ray. B. House of Frankenstein. C. The Black Cat. Or D. The Raven. We understand each other too well. We know too much of life. We shall play a little game, Vetus. A game of death, if you like. Which classic Universal horror film had that line in it? And how long before you've had it with these commercials? And the answer to tonight's cranial cavity search question. We understand each other too well. We know too much of life. We shall play a little game, Vetus. A game of death, if you like. From which classic Universal horror film does that line come? It is C. The Black Cat. Yes, my lords and ladies. The Black Cat from 1934 stars Bela Lugosi as a prisoner of war who returns to the fortress he defended 15 years earlier, only to find his rival, Boris Karloff, living there as the leader of a satanic cult. A groundbreaking film and a must-see. But now, on to the conclusion of the evening of April 14th. And we will find out if all of these premonitions about the Titanic sinking are about to come true.
What are you doing? Grace. 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 Grace.
What happened? What's the matter?
Everything's all right now. You come out to bed.
I don't understand. I was sleeping. Someone was screaming, hurry, that we need warm clothes. And I must... What's wrong with me? I must be losing my mind. Oh, I'm losing my mind.
Darling, you're driving me out of mind, you know. Look, I'm not John Jacob Astor or a member of the nobility. I've saved for 2 years for this trip, wanting it to be a perfect honeymoon, and to have it spoilt by such childish nonsense.
Oh, I'm sorry, Eric. I'm sorry.
All right, darling, you're forgiven.
I just don't make a habit of pitching my best clothes on the floor.
Iceberg, get ahead! Iceberg, get ahead! Iceberg, get ahead!
Engine seems to have stopped. You all right? Oh, Stewart.
Sir.
The engine seemed to have stopped. What was it?
There was some report of an iceberg, sir. The captain stopped the vessel, sir, just to be on the safe side, you know.
What an incredible ship. What service. They run out of ice at the bar, so what happens? We hit an iceberg. Good fresh ice. That's what I like. It's all over the deck. Have a drink, chum.
No, thank you.
Never seen an iceberg, darling. Shall we go and have a look?
That's a good idea. We'll wrap up. Good warm.
Captain's orders, go to your lifeboat station. Please dress warmly. Now, there's no need to panic. Just take it nice and easy.
It's just a precaution, darling. Remember what the captain said tonight? The ship that nothing in the world could sink? What are you doing? Trying to impress an iceberg with your jewels?
Just in case they might not be coming back.
Oh, come on.
Easy does it now. Women and children only. Then we'll follow later. There we go. Yeah. Right. There's the little one. There's the young fellow. Take care of it, will you? Yes, sir.
No.
Thank you, madam.
No. No. I won't go without you. No.
Darling, hush.
No.
Now, darling, listen to me. Have you forgotten your wedding vows so soon? Love, honor, obey. Now you go with the other women in boat 4.
Sorry. I love our marriage. All 6 days, 5 hours, and 20 minutes of it. I even loved our first fight.
If you ever have another bad dream, I'll listen to every word.
Come, madam.
It's all right, it's all right. Good night, my love.
Farley never came back to this house. Over 1,500 people perished that dreadful night aboard the Titanic. Eric Farley was among them. You've seen some of the unexplained supernatural events surrounding the life and death of a great ship. Now, do you remember this book? It's a novel published in 1898, 14 years before the ill-fated vessel was even dreamed of. The title, Futility. Its author, Morgan Robertson. It's a story about the largest liner ever built, carrying on its maiden voyage the rich and great of the world. Then, on an April night, it struck an iceberg. The vessel in this book was 70,000 tons. The Titanic, 66,000 tons. The length of the ship in these pages, 800 feet. The Titanic, 882 feet. Both made 25 knots. Both carried about 3,000 passengers. Both liners had lifeboats for only a fraction of that number, and both were considered unsinkable. Oh, one more thing. The author called his ship the Titan.
That is pretty strange, my lords and ladies. The novel The Wreck of the Titan, or Futility, was written years before the Titanic sank, and yet it still foretold almost all of the details of the sinking of the Titanic accurately. It's a weird world, my lords and ladies, and I love it. Ha ha! Well, I want to thank you all for watching, and I want to invite you all back again next week when we'll do whatever this is all over again. Ha ha! As always, I am Lord Blood-Rah saying, geek out.